Assalamualaikum and very good day. Today we will proceed our lesson in chapter 4, reproduction, to subtopic 4.4, that is fertilization and pregnancy. The objective or learning objective for this subtopic is communicate about the process of fertilization and the implantation of embryo, justify the importance and function of placenta and umbilical cord, describe the development of a zygote into an embryo and subsequently into a fetus during pregnancy until birth. So in this subtopic, fertilization and pregnancy, so you have to understand the previous lesson about what is the meaning of fertilization. So fertilization, the concept on how this process occur between sperm and also ovum is very important to make sure that you can understand more about what will happen after the process of fertilization, and it will lead to the process of pregnancy. Now we will discuss about the process of fertilization and how pregnancy is occur. First of all, so before that, this is the structure of female reproductive system. So you must remember again. So this is ovary, this is fallopian tube, this is uterus wall, so this is cervix, and this is vagina. So now, first of all, when during the sexual intercourse, penis will enter into the vagina and will ejaculate sperm, semen that contains sperm, and this sperm will swim into the vagina and entering into the uterus part here. So because sperm have their own tail, so they can swim until through this uterus and then go to the fallopian tube. So when they reach fallopian tube, if at that time ovum is produced by the ovary, so what will happen is fusion will occur between sperm and also ovum. So when sperm and ovum combine together, so we call this as a fertilization, and it occur at the fallopian tube. So now when fertilization occur, what will happen? It will form what we call as a zygote. It will form zygote. After that, when zygote is formed, it will divide itself and become a ball of cells known as embryo, and it will take about 7 days. After that, this embryo will move through the uterus and then implanted on the wall of the uterus lining here. So from here it will move during 7 days and will be implanted here. So when this process occur, so this female will undergo what we call as a pregnancy. So pregnancy will occur to this female when the embryo is implanted on the surface of uterus lining. So it will take, after that, this embryo will grow and become a fetus, and then will become a matured fetus that is become baby, and it will take about 38 weeks or 42 weeks. So the fastest period for the delivery of baby is about 38 weeks. So the development of this embryo to become a fetus, we call it as a pregnancy, and it will take approximately about 38 weeks until birth.
The journey of life starts with a fascinating race. Starting with millions of sperm Only one, the fastest and the strongest, will reach the finish line. Some fall out of the race, getting lost in the rush through the narrow fallopian tubes, while some are stopped by natural obstacles which protect the woman's body from intruders. Those who make it closer to the end compete fiercely with each other. Together, they attack the egg cell. Their only goal is to be the first one to enter the egg. Only one will make it through, but the others simplify this mission by slowly dissolving the membrane of the egg. Finally, we have a winner. The winning sperm enters the egg and conception occurs. Half the man's and half the woman's chromosomes combine. This creates a unique DNA code which is needed to create new life. These combined chromosomes form the first cell of the new baby. This is now called the zygote. The zygote starts to divide into a cluster of cells and begins to travel to the friendly and safe habitat of the uterus. When the zygote is divided into a bubble of cells, a blastocyst is formed with an inner layer of cells making up the embryo and an outer layer which will protect and nourish the embryo. The blastocyst then finds a comfortable place to stay in the uterus for the next 40 weeks to develop and transform into a human being.
This is a diagram to show about the development of baby during the pregnancy process. So it will based on the calculation of week from week 1 until week 38 or week 40. So based on this diagram, the discussion will be based on week. So we will look into a summary of what exactly happened during the pregnancy process based on the week. So if we look here, week 1 to 4, if we can see the diagram given here, what exactly happened to the physical changes of zygote to become embryo. So this is embryo. So the structure is like this, and this is week 1 until week 4. Hands and feet will start to form, and the embryo has a tiny tail. It proceeds to the next week 7 until week 9. The diagram will be like this. You can see the structure is changes a little bit compared to the week 1 to week 4. Nose, ears and fingers will be visible. You can see start to change to show up the nose, ears and finger. And then week 10 to 19, the physical is like this, almost similar to a baby. Embryo will look like a baby. The embryo is now known as fetus. So from week 10, the embryo now will become fetus, because this embryo exactly now have a look like a baby. After that, we will look into the week 20 to 37. Week 20 to 37, fetus will resemble a baby. So the diagram here will look like more similarities, more similar to the physical of baby. And deal week takes about from week 20 to week 37. And then this is the real position of the fetus in the mother's womb. So you can see here, when week 38 to 40, fetus is formed completely. the fetus turns until the head is engaged at the cervix. So you can see here, the fetus now will engage, in which the head will facing the cervix, and then the muscle of the uterine lining will contract strongly, the amnion will burst and amniotic fluid will be released. Fetus is pushed out of the uterus through the vagina and then out of the body. So from here you can see, when baby reach the maturity, so the uterus wall will have a contraction, and based on this contraction, it will push the baby, the fetus here, through the cervix and then through the vagina. The vagina will enlarge to enable the baby to go through out from the female body. So this is the way on how baby is born. So this is what exactly happened when you are giving born by your mother, and this is the most painful situation for your mothers when giving a birth to you. So please appreciate this situation.
During a vaginal childbirth, the first stage of labor lasts about 12 to 19 hours and starts when your baby settles lower into your pelvis. In response, your cervix begins to efface or become thinner and dilate or widen. During this time, you may feel strong, regular contractions occurring every 5 to 20 minutes and lower back pain and cramping that doesn't go away. You may see a brownish or reddish mucus discharge, which could be the mucus plug at the opening of your cervix, falling out. Your water may break, which can either be a large gush of fluid or a continuous trickle. If you experience any of these symptoms, contact your doctor or midwife to see if you should go to the hospital. At the beginning of stage 2 of labor, which usually lasts from 20 minutes to 2 hours, your cervix is fully dilated to 10 centimeters, and your baby's head has moved beyond the cervical opening into your birth canal. Your doctor or midwife will instruct you to push during your contractions and rest between them. In a normal delivery, your baby's head will rotate to face your back. During active labor, your uterus is divided into an active segment that contracts, pushing the baby downward, and a flexible passive segment that remains relaxed, stretching to provide more room for the baby to pass through. When the top of your baby's head appears, or crowns, your doctor may make a small cut, called an episiotomy, to enlarge the vaginal opening. Then, your doctor or midwife will give you instructions on how to push your baby out. As your baby's head passes through the birth canal, it molds into an elongated shape. An elongated head shape will resolve itself within a few days as the skull bones shift back into place. After your baby's head exits the birth canal, his or her head and shoulders will rotate to help the shoulders pass through the birth canal. Your baby's shoulders are delivered one after the other in order to fit through your pelvis. Once the shoulders emerge, the rest of your baby slides out easily. After your baby is born, his or her umbilical cord will be cut. In stage 3 of labor, which may last 5 to 30 minutes, mild contractions will help push the placenta out of the uterus. During this stage, you and your baby may begin bonding through skin-to-skin contact and breastfeeding.
So now we will look into what is exactly the position and the condition of the fetus in the mother's womb, and also the structure of every part that consists in the mother's womb that enable the fetus to develop develop and grow inside the mother's womb. So from here, if you can see, this is the situation in which the fetus become matured, maybe in the weeks 38 until 40. So this situation, you can see the structure of this mother's womb. The first one is, we call it as a placenta. So this is placenta here. This is placenta. Okay. Next is umbilical cord. So this is umbilical cord, or in BM we say it as a tali pusat. Next is a uterine wall. This is uterine wall. Consists of the muscle that will contract to push the fetus out from the vagina. Amnion. So this is a membrane that protect the fetus. This is fetus. And then amniotic fluid. So inside the amnion, a membrane, so consists of fluid. We call it as a amniotic fluid. So every structure here have their own function that enable the fetus to grow and develop with healthy and safety inside the mother's womb. So we will discuss a little bit more about every function of this structure. The first one is placenta. This one, placenta, made up of tissue from both mother and embryo. The most important function is, this is place where exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, supply of nutrient and removal of waste material through the mother's blood and the fetus occur. So this is where the place the exchange of the oxygen, carbon dioxide and nutrient, and also the removal of waste material from mother to baby, and from baby to mothers. Next is umbilical cord. So this umbilical cord is a tube which connect the fetus to the placenta. There are blood vessels inside the tube to transport blood to and from the fetus. So this will connect. Umbilical cord will connect between mothers and also fetus. Uterine wall, as I said before, consists of the muscle that important to contract and relax to enable the fetus to push out from the female body. Amnion, a membrane to protect this fetus, and this amniotic fluid act as a cushion to absorb concussion and protects the fetus from any injuries. So this is how the fetus is developed and growth inside the mother's womb with a protection from their mothers, with this very powerful structure to make sure that the fetus can become a matured baby and can be born peacefully. So now you have understand how baby is born through a vagina of your mother. So based on this gift from the God that protect you inside the mother's womb, to make sure that you can survive and live healthy in your mother's womb. So after this, I hope that you can understand and can remember the structure and also the function of every parts in the mother's womb that consists of the baby, the fetus, and what is the process that occur during the pregnancy process. So Last thing, as usual, I want you to do this formative practice 4.4, question number 1 until question number 4. So these questions you must do after you have completed notes for this subtopic 4.4, that is fertilization and pregnancy. So make sure you write the question first and then put your answer under each question, and then write the notes and this question in your notebook. Thank you.